Isn't it interesting? Yesterday, DHS was out. And let me go to, in fact, to Andrew in Cincinnati, who was at a protest at the IRS building.
Yes, sir. I was one of the organizers and helped run the event yesterday.
How many people were there?
Between 300 and 400 people,
that's
which is
good.
really good for our last minute notice.
Yeah,
that's
the thing. I don't think a lot of people knew about it yesterday.
Oh.
So,
well, let me say two things really quickly. Had Lois Lerner testified yesterday morning, I think we might have had 1,000 people there, because what I just saw on TV sickens me. But the other thing is what's happening with DHS, and not only here in Cincinnati, but all across the United States. We are creating a national police department, police force, and
nobody's saying anything. Did you notice
saying a word?
Andrew, is it up in Cincinnati? I saw some pictures. The Blaze has some pictures of all of the police, the DHS in their cruisers and stuff around these protests yesterday. And what stuck out at me was the cars no longer say Department of Homeland Security with the shield there on it, which they used to say. They now say in big, huge letters, police, and then small letters, Department of Homeland Security.
Correct. I ran into that firsthand, not only there, but I've been at other things around town, and they have their BDUs or their bulletproof vests, and they say police in large letters now, very large letters, but then very small. You have to look closely. They say Department of Homeland Security, and I've questioned them at the angst of my wife, and they say, because she's more like, please don't say anything, please don't say anything. And I said, but you guys are not a national police force. Why are you here? And they don't really say anything. Well, we're operating, we're doing this operation. But we really are creating, and Congress needs to wake up. Maybe they're part of it, I don't know. But they need to look into this. We are creating a national police force that's keeping an eye on us and intimidating us.
Oh, there's one thing about having a police force. Again, you have a police force and it's out of control. You go down to your mayor and you take care of it with your mayor. If a national police force is out of control, who exactly do you have? Because all they'll do is say, well, it's low level. We're sorry for that. And you'll do nothing about it. You'll have no recourse. We cannot allow the DHS to become a national police force. And that's exactly what they're doing. And they understand that police force now has access to your medical records through the IRS. They are the same kind of people that will tap your phone by one of them writing a warrant for another one. So all they have to do now, the FBI, all they have to do is one FBI agent says, I need a warrant for a wiretap. And the other one will say, oh, okay, here, all right, here you go. And they write it out. Now they have to justify it afterwards, if anything is ever said. I mean, do you remember the speech that we heard down in Florida? We were with Freedom Works. And the judge gave this amazing speech about what it's like now to be served with a warrant from the Department of Homeland Security. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. You can't say anything. You'll go to prison if you say you have been served with a warrant by the Department of Homeland Security. So if you tell anyone, I believe including your attorney, you and your attorney will go to jail. You cannot disclose.
That's because of the Patriot Act, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And look how bold it is that right in the middle of all this IRS targeting stuff, Homeland Security shows up at all these Tea Party protests yesterday.
With the IRS. And they don't care.
To be there.
They
just
don't
as an
care.
Intimidating factor. Nobody knows why they're there, what they're doing. They're in Missouri, Florida, Illinois, Indiana. They're all over the place. There's no reason for any Homeland Security to be there. There's no threat.
Let's remember,
violence
guys,
going on. There wasn't a single incident.
Let's remember, the Department of Homeland Security was what? What were they? They were for the airports. They were for the airports, usually not spelled with an F in front of airport, but almost were there. They were for the airports.
The fairports.
The airports. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did that happen? Has anybody noticed? They were the guys with the really crappy uniforms that have the rubber gloves who are feeling you up at the airport, and you're laughing at them. This is a labor union police force, a federal labor union police force. This is not good.